Previously on Broken Sylvia, I repaired the damaged area in the engine bay of the Skyline, but in this episode we'll continue pulling apart the car to prepare it for the rotisserie, and finally check out some cars that are not broken.
I'm looking for a way inside your mind. It's a haze of mysteries. All I see is smoke and mirrors and the reflecting memories.
While the car was still on the lift, my friend Sean and I started pulling apart the underside of the car before taking the car off the lift and doing the rest on jack stands. We also cracked the nuts on the front and rear subframes, as the subframes will be getting removed to get reinforced and powder coated. So our job right now was to remove the front wheels to get access to the front suspension. All we had to do is remove a few nuts and bolts that connects the front suspension to the car itself. All the suspension components are bolted to the subframe and the subframe is bolted to the car. To remove the subframe, it's an easy process. It's just 4 nuts. Make sure you have a jack underneath it to hold it and then just lower it once it's all loose. Taking apart the front end this way is easier because you can remove everything that is connected to the subframe on the floor instead of on the car, and makes life a lot easier when it comes to filming the whole process. Now with the front subframe removed, Sean had to hold down the front of the car because it was unbalanced on the jack stands, as there was no weight over the front of the car. So while he was holding that down, I kind of jacked up the back end and slowly repositions the jack stands so the car is nice and balanced. After that, we both moved onto the back of the car to remove the rear subframe. To remove the rear subframe is again a super easy process. To do the job, you're going to have to remove the 2 nuts that hold the top of the coilover to the car on both sides, and after that you place a jack underneath the subframe and remove the 4 nuts holding it in place. Slowly drop the subframe and it's out. These cars are really nice to work on as they are super simple and replacement or upgraded parts are readily available.
Sick.
Make the booty bounce on the dance floor.
So the next step is to take the rest of the outside of the car apart. So instead of me worrying about having to keep the doors open or the boot open, I'm just going to pull them off because it has to come off anyways. So generally how I work is I tend to rush things, and I always use the S14 as the example because that is the first car I ever rebuilt. Pretty much when I took that car apart, every nut, bolt, washer and bracket just got put in one single bucket. Now I thought that was going to save me time, but in the long run when you have to go put the car back together, it's an absolute nightmare. So with this R34 I've really been taking my time with everything to do it properly. And I've gotten some plastic sandwich bags in different sizes that I'm gonna use for different parts of the car and just label what goes where to make my life easier when I have to go put it back together. So because I closed the door, it actually latched on the inside. So now I have to carefully take this door off, even though it's damaged. I might still need a few bits and pieces. So I've never pulled apart an interior, and my comfort zone is probably as far as removing seats. This is going to be something next level for me because it's a fiddly job. There's a lot of plastic clips, wiring as well. I hate wiring, so it's going to be a scary process, but I'll make sure to take photos and videos just so I know how this goes back together one day, and hopefully I don't lose the footage. Otherwise, I don't know who's going to put this back together, but I guess we're going to have to start and see how we go.
Unfortunately, I cannot show every single detail because the episodes would be about 15 hours long instead of 15 minutes. But in terms of pulling apart the interior, it's actually quite a simple process, the dashboard being the hardest to take out, which was actually really easy. Rad Rido makes a video locating a few of the bolts and nuts that are hard to get to and not visible, so go check out his channel if you want to remove a dashboard in a R34 Skyline, and I'm pretty sure the Silvias are very similar as well. So with most of the interior and the exterior of the car now pulled apart, it's time to concentrate on the boot. So there's a lot of wiring and just general junk laying around in the boot. Anything that was loose, I straight away removed from the boot, but the wiring, instead of unplugging it and losing track on how to put it back in, all I'm going to do is remove that metal plate that sits behind the rear seats, and I'm going to feed all that wiring back into the interior. Now, a lot of that wiring and those boxes that look like computers, I believe has to do something with HICUS, the four-wheel drive, the four-wheel steering system, which will get deleted anyways. So I'm going to have to look into it, but I'm pretty sure most of that can go in the bin.
Through the fire, I could conquer the night. If I can make it, if I try to draw the red light, I could run through the fire, I could conquer the night. If I can make it, if I try to draw the red light, I could.
Well, there we have it. The car is almost fully stripped. With the interior, this is kind of as far as I want to go because I'm scared if I continue pulling it apart, I'm not going to know how to put it back together. But the carpet will get replaced with a brand new one and the headliner will be retrimmed black. The engine bay needs the wiring harness fed back into the interior. The boot is stripped and ready to receive some love. And the underside of the car is now fully stripped, which means it's time to pack up the workshop and wait for my friend Mickey to swing by to start making a plan on how we are going to mount this car onto our rotisserie.
Conquer the night. If I can make it, if I try to draw the red light, I could run through the fire, I could conquer the night. If I can make it, if I try to draw the red light, I could.
So there we have it. That'll be it for another episode on the Skyline rebuild. In the next episode, I'll show in detail how we mounted the car onto the rotisserie, and we will either be restoring the underside of the car or preparing it for paint. If you like this sort of content, consider subscribing or check out the Instagram page for live updates and behind the scenes. Now the question is, what color are we going to paint it?
The ideas are getting better and better by the day.
I barely could trust ya. I talked to a shorty, she bagging the bucket, and I'ma need all of my dollars on corporate, so hand me the money, I divvy the pie. I'ma give all of my people a portion to build them a fortune, I'm flipping the ride. I can't be mixing.